Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So actually last time, very good evening Chaitanya, very good evening. Welcome back to Akshara online classes. Today we will discuss about the 7th class reproduction in the plants. Previous class we are discussed about that asexual reproduction in the plants. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Today we will discuss about that sexual reproduction in the plants. So here first thing, definition of the reproduction: the ability of the organism to produce new individual of the same species is called reproduction. Chaitanya, some disturbances is coming from.
Okay, sir.
Please mute yourself. Okay. Now okay. Okay. So reproduction, definition of the reproduction: the ability of the organism to produce new individual of the same species is called reproduction. Plants reproduce with the two ways. One is the asexual reproduction, second one is the sexual reproduction. Last class total we will discuss about the asexual reproduction. Today we will discuss about the sexual reproduction. Okay, sexual reproduction in the plants. Sexual reproduction in the plants. Okay, in the sexual reproduction in the plants. Okay, what is the sexual part of the plant? Can you say? What is the sexual part of the plant? You can see here. Okay, you can see here sexual reproduction in the plant. Sexual reproduction in the plants. My voice is audible to you? Chaitanya? Hello? Chaitanya? Chaitanya? Hello? Chaitanya? Chaitanya? Hello? Hello? Chaitanya?
Sir.
My voice is audible to you?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Okay. So today we will discuss about that sexual reproduction in the plants. Sexual reproduction in the plant. What is the sexual part of the plant? Sexual part. No. Sexual part of the plant is the flower. Okay. Sexual part of the plant is the flower. Okay. This flower is turned into the fruit. Okay. This fruit is turned into the seed. This seed gives rise to the new plant. New plant. So here you can keep in your mind, the sexual part of the plant is the flower. The sexual part of the plant is the flower. The sexual part of the plant is the flower. Okay. So the reproductive part of the plant is the flower. The reproductive part of the plant is the flower. Actually in this flower, shoot is modified to the flower. Shoot system, do you know? This shoot is developed into the flower. That flower is turned into the fruit. Fruit is turned into the seed. Seed gives rise to the new plant. So here you are keeping your mind, the sexual part of the plant is the flower. Okay. This flower is arising from the shoot system. Okay. This flower is arising from the shoot system. Okay. If you see the flowers, okay, you can see the stalk-like structure present in the flower. The stalk-like structure. Okay. If you are see that any flower, that stalk-like structure is called pedicel. What it is called? pedicel. Okay, stalk like structure is known as the pedicel. Okay, so which of the plants pedicel is present, stalk like structure is present, that is pedicellate flower, that is called pedicellate flowers. Okay, which of the flowers, the stalk like structure, that stalk like structure is absent, that flowers is called sessile flowers. What we are called? Sessile flowers. Okay, you are keep in your mind, if you see the any flower, the stalk like structure is called pedicel. If the pedicel is present, that is pedicellate flower. If the stalk like structure is absent, that is called sessile flower. In the pedicellate flowers, actually that flower is, okay, that swollen part of that pedicellate, that is called thalamus. What we are called? Thalamus. Thalamus. In this thalamus, floral pods are arranged into the rows. First row, second row, third row, fourth row, like. So here you are keep in your mind, flower is the sexual part of the plant. Flower is modified to the shoot system. Okay, that flower stalk like structure is called pedicel. Okay, so in this stalk like structure, that swollen part is called thalamus. In the thalamus, flower pods are arranged into the rows. Is it clear, Chaitanya? So now coming to the point, so actually in that flower, how many rows are present? 4 rows are present. In that first row, you can see that any flower, okay. You can see here, all the stamens to united to form a, okay, androecium. In this androecium, you can see that the stalk like structure is known as the filament, okay, and that swollen part is called anther. Okay, in this anther, actually pollen grains are present. These pollen grains are the microscopic, motile, and they can move to the one place to the another place. So all the stamens to united to form what? Androecium. Yes, all the stamens to united to form a androecium. First row is the all the sepals to united to form a calyx. Second row, all the petals to united to form a corolla. Third row, all the stamens to united to form a androecium. Androecium is the male reproductive part. Androecium is the male reproductive part. Okay, so pollen grains is known as the male gamete. Is it clear? Are you understand, Chaitanya? Next, fourth row. If you see the fourth row is known as the gynoecium. What we are called? Fourth row is known as the gynoecium. This gynoecium also known as the, okay, pistil. This pistil also known as the, okay, carpel. In this gynoecium, if you are see, okay, in this gynoecium is the female reproductive part. So in this gynoecium, actually 3 important parts are present. So this is called ovary. This is called style. This is called stigma. This is called stigma. In the female reproductive part, is it clear? So, fourth row is known as the gynoecium. Gynoecium another name is the pistil. Pistil another name is the carpel. In the gynoecium, three important parts are present: ovary, style, stigma. In the ovary, ovules are present. These are the future seeds. Is it clear? Chaitanya?
Yes, sir.
Next, here very important thing is the a complete flower. Complete flower means which of the flower contain calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, that is called complete flower. What is the example of the complete flower? Datura, hypomia and hibiscus. What is the example? Datura, okay, hibiscus, okay. Third one is the hypomia, okay. Third one is the hypomia, okay. These are the example is the complete flower. So what is the meaning of the complete flower? A flower contain calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium is called complete flower. What is the example of the complete flower? Datura, hibiscus, hypomia. Incomplete flower. What is the meaning of the incomplete flower? A flower contain, here already they are given. So here see, a flower that has the 4 or more rows, at least one each calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium is called examples of the complete flower. Example, datura, hypomia and hibiscus. My voice is audible to you, Chaitanya?
Yes, sir.
Next, incomplete flower. Incomplete flower means a flower in which any of these 4 rows is any one missing, either calyx, either corolla, either androecium, either gynoecium. If any one of the row is complete missing, so that is called incomplete flower. Incomplete flower. Incomplete flower. Example, cucumber. Do you know cucumber?
Yes, sir.
Dosa, okay, bottle gourd, papaya, cucumber, bottle gourd, papaya. These are the examples are very important. Incomplete flower means in the flower any one of the row is absent, that is called incomplete flower. Examples of the incomplete flower is called cucumber, bottle gourd, papaya. Cucumber, bottle gourd, papaya. Next, third point, unisexual flower. Uni means what? Uni means what? One sex. Either male or female. Either. For example, we are unisexual or bisexual? Unisexual animals. We are the unisexual animals. We have only one of the sex. Okay. So either male or female. Okay. So at the same time, some of the plants also have the unisexual flower. A flower which has either stamens like androecium or pistil or gynoecium is called. So for example, if the flower is contain gynoecium, that is known as the unisexual. If the flower is contain pistil, that is also unisexual. Yes or no? If the flower is contain gynoecium, that is unisexual plant. If the flower is contain androecium, that is also unisexual. Any one of the sex is present. Any one of the sex is present, that is known as the unisexual flowers. Unisexual flowers. Okay. Example what? Cucumber, bottle gourd, bitter gourd. Okay. Do you know what is the meaning of bottle gourd in Telugu?
Sir, I think pottakaya.
Potlakaya, sorakaya?
Sorakaya, sir.
Bitter gourd? Bitter gourd. Kakarakai.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So these are the, if the flower is contain any one of the sex, that is called unisexual flower. Example, cucumber, bottle gourd, bitter gourd. Okay. Next thing is bisexual flowers. What is that? Bisexual flower. Bisexual flowers means a flower contain both the male sex organs and female sex organs. So that means okay, stamens and pistil or androecium or gynoecium, both the sexual part is present within the only one of the flower. Such type of the flower is known as the bisexual flower. If that animals, for example, male reproductive part, female reproductive part, both only single organism is present, that is also known as the bisexual animals. Do you know bisexual animals? In 8th class already, hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite means which of the organism? Both the male reproductive part and female reproductive parts are present only single organism. That is called hermaphrodite or bisexual animals. Example of the bisexual animals. Okay, bisexual animals are hermaphrodite. Example, earthworm. Do you know earthworm?
Yes, sir.
Megascolex. Okay, this earthworm have the both the male reproductive part and female reproductive part is present in the single organism. Such type of the organisms are called bisexual animals. Bisexual animal. Here you can see a flower that has both the stamens and pistil, like androecium and gynoecium, both are present. That is called okay, that is called bisexual flowers. Example, datura, hibiscus, ipomia, these are the plants are known as the bisexual flowers, bisexual plants. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, flower is the sexual reproductive part. Flower is arising from the shoot. Okay, stalk-like structure of the flower is called pedicel. Swollen part of the pedicel, that is called thalamus. In the thalamus, that floral parts are arranged into the 4 rows. First row is known as the all the sepals to united to form a calyx. Second row is the bright attractive color is present, that is known as the petals. All the petals to united to form a corolla. Third row is known as the stamens. All the stamens to united to form a androecium. Fourth row is known as the pistil. Okay, in the pistil ovary style stigma is present. So pistil to united to form a gynoecium. If the flower contain all the 4 parts, that is known as the complete flower. Complete flower is the example is the okay. So datura, ipomia and hibiscus. Incomplete flower. Incomplete flower means in that any row is absent, that is known as the incomplete flower. Example, cucumber, bottle gourd, papaya. Unisexual flowers means a flower which has either stamens or pistil or androecium and gynoecium, any one is present, that is called unisexual flower. Example, cucumber, bottle gourd, bitter gourd. Next, bisexual flower. A flower contain both the pistil and stamens and pistil or androecium and gynoecium, that is called bisexual flower. So example, datura, hibiscus, ipomia. Is it clear? Are you understand? Chaitanya?
Yes, sir.
Now in the sexual reproduction, 2 things are very, very important. What are the 2 things? First thing is the pollination. What is that? Pollination. Second thing is the fertilization. In the sexual reproduction, two things are very, very important. One is the pollination and second one is the fertilization. What is the meaning of the pollination? Already you know very well. Okay. This is the structure of the stamen. This is filament. Yes. This is anther. Is it clear? These what?
Yes, sir.
These are called pollen grain.
Pollen grains.
Next. This is called ovary. This is called style. This is called stigma. Yes. In the sexual reproduction, two things are very, very important. First one is the pollination. First one is the pollination. Second one is the fertilization. So pollen grain, these are called already you know very well, pollen grains. Okay. Pollen grains are reached to the anther to the stigma is called pollination. What is that? Pollen grains are reached to the anther to the stigma is called pollen grains are reached to the anther to the stigma is called pollination. Here clear? Pollination definition. Is it clear? Hello? Chaitanya?
Yes, sir.
Pollen grains are reached to the anther to the stigma is called pollination. In the pollination again two types of the pollinations are present. One is the self-pollination and another one is the cross-pollination. What is the meaning of the self-pollination? So in the self-pollination, like bisexual flowers, both the male reproductive parts and female reproductive parts within the same flower is present. Yes or no? So such type of the plants, these are the pollen grains reached to the anther to the stigma of the same flower. What? Same flower of the same species is called self-pollination. Self-pollination. Second thing, cross-pollination means some of the unisexual plants, they have the both the only one sex is present. These pollen grains reach to the anther to the stigma of the another flower. Okay. Such type of the pollination is called cross-pollination. Pollen grains reach to the anther to the stigma of the same plant is called self-pollination. Pollen grains reach to the anther to the stigma of the another flower is called cross-pollination. Next, what is the meaning of the fertilization? Fusion of the male gamete and female gamete. What is the male gamete? Pollen grain. Pollen grain. What is the female gamete? Egg. So these are the pollen grain and egg when they are fused, when they are coming to here and they can fused. Fusion of the male gamete and female gamete is called fertilization. Fertilization takes place, what happened? Zygote is formed. So these pollen grains are the haploid in condition, single set of the chromosome. This egg also haploid in condition, single set of the chromosome. When that pollen grains and eggs are fused, fertilization takes place. Fertilization takes place, zygote is formed. That zygote is the diploid in condition. Two set of the chromosome. That zygote developed into the embryo. developed into the embryo. That embryo give rise to the new plant. That embryo give rise to the new plant. This is about the sexual reproduction in the plant. Are you understand, Chaitanya?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Pollination and fertilization. Pollination means pollen grains reached to the anther to the stigma is known as the pollination. In the pollination also, two types of the pollinations are present: self-pollination and cross-pollination. Pollen grains reached to the anther to the stigma of the same flower is called self-pollination. Cross-pollination, pollen grains, these pollen grains reach it to the anther to the stigma of the another flower is called cross-pollination. Next, after the pollination, fertilization, this pollen grain. So here so many factors are present through the air, through the wind, through the water, through the insect, through the animals. So many factors. So fertilizations are helping. Okay. So fusion of the male gamete and female gamete is called fertilization. Fertilization takes place. Zygote is formed. Zygote always diploid in condition. Two set of the chromosomes are present. One set getting from the pollen grain, another set getting from that ova or egg cell. That pollen grain, this fertilization takes place. Zygote is formed. Zygote is the diploid in condition. That zygote developed into the embryo. Embryo give rise to the new baby. Are you understand?
Yes, sir.
So once I can show to that diagrams once please. Okay. Agents of the help ovary flowers to the development of the fruit. Sometimes okay. So many agents are present. Okay. So these are that. So with the help of the air, with the help of that pollen grains they can come to that ovary. Okay, with the help of that air. Next, asexual reproduction, that is already last time we can studied. This is a potato, they can reproduce with the help of that. Okay, sweet potato, dahlia, carrot, turnip, radish through the roots. Potato, stem, onion, garlic, turmeric, lilies. Okay, these are that especially bulb, bryophyllum, begonia, leaves, sugar cane, stem, and mint, strawberry, chrysanthemum, and raspberry. These are that stem creeps along with that ground. Here, actually, here they are given clearly. Sexual reproduction, male organism, female organism, male reproductive part, female reproductive part. Male reproductive part is called androecium, female reproductive part is called pistil. Androecium releases to the pollen grain, pistil releases to the egg nucleus. Fusion of the male gamete and female gamete is called fertilization. Fertilization takes place, zygote is formed. That zygote developed into the embryo. Here, embryo. Okay, here this is the developed into the embryo. This embryo give rise to the seed. That seed give rise to the new plant. This is the sexual reproduction. Is it clear? Male reproductive part what? Androecium. Female reproductive organ is the pistil. Androecium means pollen grains is the male gamete. Egg is the female gamete. Fusion of the male gamete and female gamete is called fertilization. Zygote is formed. Zygote always diploid in condition. That zygote developed into the embryo. Embryo give rise to the seed. Seed give rise to the new plant. Here already Now you can see. Ah, thalamus is the seat on which parts of the flower is present. Stalk-like structure is known as the pedicel. Pedicel after that swollen part is called thalamus. In the thalamus, that floral parts are arranged. Okay. So above the thalamus there is a green tube-like structure is called calyx. All the sepals united to form a first row is the calyx. So second row. So next all the petals united to form a corolla. Next androecium and gynoecium are the male and female reproductive parts of the flower. Androecium is the male reproductive part, gynoecium is the female reproductive part. And sunflower is actually bunch of the flowers. And the small flowers in the bunch are called florets. A flower that has the 4 or more rows is called complete flower, like calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium. These are the 4 rows is present. That is called complete flower. A flower which has either stamens or pistil is called unisexual flower. Either stamen, either pistil, any one is present, that is known as the unisexual flower. A flower which has the both stamens and pistil is called bisexual flower. Examples are very important. Next, okay, the process of the pollen grains reaching to the stigma of the from anther is known as the pollination. Okay, the process of the pollen grains reaching to the anther to the stigma is known as the pollination. In the pollination, 2 types of the pollinations are present. One is the self-pollination, second one is the cross-pollination. Self-pollination means pollen grains reach to the anther to the stigma of the same flower is called self-pollination. Cross-pollination means pollen grains reach to the anther to the stigma of the another flower is called cross-pollination. Flowers consist of the 4 parts: sepals, petals, stamens, pistil. Next, here based on the presence of absence of the floral parts, flowers are the 2 types. One is the complete flower and incomplete flower. Complete flower means total calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium, these are present, that is known as the complete flower. Incomplete flower means if anything is absent, any row is absent, or calyx or corolla or androecium and gynoecium, in any one of the row is absent, that is known as the incomplete flower. Based on the presence of the both the single sexual parts, flowers are the 2 types. One is the bisexual and unisexual. If pistil is present, only unisexual. If that stamen is present, that is unisexual. If the androecium is present, unisexual. Okay, gynoecium only present, unisexual. If the flower contain both the gynoecium and androecium or stamens or pistil, that is known as the bisexual flower. Next, so transfer of the pollen grains from anther to the stigma is known as the pollination. Actually, flowers can be self-pollinated or cross-pollination. Pollen grains reach it to the anther to the stigma of the same flower, self-pollination. Pollen grains reach it to the anther to the stigma of the another flower, cross-pollination. Okay, next, on the basis of the parts involved in reproduction in the plant, 2 types. One is the sexual reproduction and another one is the asexual reproduction. Production of the offspring from the zygote is called sexual reproduction. Okay, here sexual reproduction is a very advanced method. Sexual reproduction is the new characters we can see. Variations are occur from that sexual reproduction only. New characters are arised from that sexual reproduction only. Sexual reproduction is a very advanced method of the reproduction. In the male organism and female organism, so characters are innate, new characters also arise. Sometimes it may be ancestor characters also coming from the sexual reproduction. You are keep in your mind, sexual reproduction is the very advanced method. Sexual reproduction occurs only through the variations or occur from the sexual reproduction only. Okay, nature is a new variations we can see that always through the sexual reproduction only. Formation of the new plants without sexual reproduction is called asexual reproduction. So this is the diagram. Example, complete flower. Okay, so Datura, Ipomia, hibiscus. incomplete flower, example cucumber, bottle gourd, papaya. Unisexual, example is the cucumber, bottle gourd, bitter gourd. And bisexual is the example is the okay datura, hibiscus, hypomia. So this is the agents help of the ovary develop into that air, water and animals. So this is the especially that pollen grains reach it to the anther to the stigma. Okay, this is the vegetative reproduction. Okay, plants and parts of that roots, stem, leaves. Okay, this is the total budding, especially we can see in the hydra and yeast. Okay, so this is the spores are formed from that especially rhizopus. And he is the scientist is the Alexander Fleming. He was discovered to the penicillin. Okay, so this is about the sexual reproduction, male plant and female plant. Zygote is formed, zygote developed into the seed, seed give rise to the new plant. This is about the sexual reproduction. Any doubts regarding Chaitanya? Total reproduction in the plant is completed. You have the any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, are you understand all the topic?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Have a nice day.